everybody, we're back in the woods. Today we're going to be doing some firewood collection. We're going to learn how to do our fire building for some campfire cooking. So I actually have some friends here with me today who are willing to help us out in looking for some firewood. So they're going to explain what we're going to look for and see if we can go find some stuff.
Hello, we're the Schreiber family from Trinity UMC, and we are going to be talking about what kind of tree?
Sassafras.
The sassafras, because the sassafras is good in fire building. What do we know about the leaves of the sassafras tree? Sassafras.
I have a leaf that's called a mitten.
Has
So
a
it's
mitten
got
leaf.
a mitten leaf and...
It's a little ripped. Mine is a compound.
That's two kind of leaves. The sassafras
And
has
then the Holy Ghost.
3 leaves.
3 different kinds of leaves.
The mitten, the compound, and the Holy Ghost.
Perfect. So then over here we have a few examples. If you can see the bark, so you can see how grainy the bark is, right? So these are some of our older growth sassafras trees, and this little area right here behind our cabins, you have a cluster of all these sassafras trees. So we're going to do some firewood collecting and see what we can do for our campfire. All right, so our team is out here and they're ready to go collect some of our sassafras twigs. So if you can see
You got one,
these
Kate?
burnt orange colored twigs. And if you ever go out in the woods and try and find them, thorns like to grow all around our sassafras twigs. You find one right there?
Yep, this one.
All right, let's see if we can find some twigs down by the ground there. Oh, nice, good find. Awesome.
Thorn bush.
Good job, guys. All right, we're gonna collect it up and take it down to our campfire. All right, so we've collected our firewood and our wonderful Schreiber helpers here are going to tell us the 3 things that we need to start a fire. What's one of them?
Fuel.
Our fuel, which what are we using?
Wood.
All right, wood is our fuel.
Oxygen.
Oxygen, so we're not gonna put it out like a candle with a lid on it. And then what's our last one? Starts with an I.
Ignition.
All right, ignition, very nice. So we have a couple options here. We have some matches or a lighter, all right? And then we're gonna talk about our other options here too. So we have some sassafras sticks and branches. So we need to organize our campfire by breaking into little piles of the same thickness of wood. So she's gonna take the really small stuff and make a pile of that. She's gonna take the medium stuff and make a pile of that, and then the thicker part of the branch as a third pile on its own. Okay, so we've got our 3 piles of our sassafras log. And so what we're gonna do, we have some other split pine logs here. And if I'm just doing a fire that I want to just kind of hang out and make a bonfire, I'm gonna use these, but we can't just light this, right? Because it's not gonna catch on fire, it's too big. So we need to start with some smaller twigs, but I am gonna use this as a leaning post. So I put that in the middle of my fire, and then awesome helpers broke up some of these small twigs, right? So we're gonna use those, and I'm just gonna take a handful of them and just gonna pile them together, and they're all gonna face the same direction. We're gonna place it on top and lean it over our log there. So we talked about one of our ignition source, right? So we're gonna put our match underneath there, and our air has plenty of room to move underneath of our fuel, which is our sticks. Okay, so we need to get a nice pile going right there, and we want to be careful not to knock the pile over. So we're just going to kind of make it its own structure right here. So let's put a few on top. Okay, now this sassafras, when we light it, it's going to catch and hold that flame. Now when I light this match, I'm gonna light it down a little low so it'll travel up the sticks a bit. So let's see what we can do here with these wonderful paper matches. So if you grab the match all the way at the bottom, and parent disclaimer, ask your parents before you light any matches. So we're gonna hold it as long as we can so it catches. We got some smoke, but that doesn't always mean that the sticks are on fire. So then I can lay the match right where I laid it. All right, and it's starting to travel up. So now once I see the flame extend over top of my sticks, I can start adding more. Remember, one of our three components is air, so we don't want to cover it up too much. It'll snuff it out. So we got to be careful that we're adding just enough to keep it going, because these small twigs, they'll burn through pretty quickly. We want to make sure that we're adding enough fuel that it's continuing the flame. So once I get a tall enough flame, then we can start moving on to a little bit thicker of a twig. All right, so we got a nice pile going here. Now from here, it's really up to what I'm using the fire for. All right, it tells me what kind of structure I'm gonna build. So if I was to build a big fire and I wanted a lot of coals, maybe I'm doing some Dutch ovens or pizza pie irons, if you've ever done that. You wanna let it get really big, the fire, and then let it die down so you have a bunch of coals, hot coals to cook with. If you're doing breakfast, usually you're over a griddle. You might have a pan like you're doing eggs or French toast or pancakes or something. You want to use a nice consistent but small flame. All right, so that's going to tell you how big of a fire you want to go.
You're learning.
There you go.
This is going to be helpful for our hunter-gatherer status.
That's right. And go ahead and keep putting some of those medium sticks on there in a nice line right down through the center. And fire is hot, but you can get close enough to it to place something, so we don't want to throw anything into the fire.
Here, you said a couple of the medium ones.
It's totally not.
Oh.
All right, and our team of experts here is keeping the fire going. All right, so one option we can use to build up our fire is a log cabin. So have you guys ever built log cabins before?
No.
So you're gonna take 2 sticks of equal size and lay them across on the outsides of the fire. So that fire in the center is gonna stay lit. So go ahead and grab some of the bigger sticks there. Grab 2 of them. You're gonna put one on the outside and lay it down flat for me, please.
Like this?
There you go. All right, so you have 2 going this way, and then the next time we're gonna put 2 on top going that way. Yeah, so lay it right over top. All right, so our team here is building a log cabin fire. So our fire is a little bit bigger, so we gotta take our time putting our sticks down. We're gonna try and crisscross a little bit our sticks on the outside of the flame. So they're kind of creating a structure all the way around the outside.
Mama, we're brave to do this.
All right, so one of our ignition sources we can use is hand sanitizer. We're all familiar with that right now. And so we're going to make a glob of it. Go ahead. All right, and then it has some alcohol properties to it, which means that it will light and burn. So it'll actually light and burn clear and clean.
Hold this forward.
All right, and it's lit. All right, so if we pull that away, now it's still lit there. You can't see it at all, but let's test it out. We're gonna hold a stick right over top of it, and it's gonna catch fire. You can see it's starting to make an orange glow there. Pretty cool. So that's one way that we can use an ignition source. Just like we use really small twigs to build our big fire, we can use some of the resources we have around us, like hand sanitizer. All right, our other option here for a fire starter. So this is our camp homemade fire starter. So the ingredients in this is a cardboard egg carton, some lint from our dryer, and some candle wax that we've dripped in there. Right, so all of those together, it's going to hold the fire and then keep it going. That candle wax will extend the fire so that we can get some things. So if you have a really windy day, this might be a really good option for you to start your fire with. So we're gonna place that down in our fire pit here, and then we're gonna use our stick lighter and see how long we can get that to light.
Here you go, Kate.
Perfect. And once the cardboard's lit, then the candle wax will just hold the flame there, just like it would a candle. So our fire starters like this, they'll burn for about 10 minutes. So it's a great way for us to even take that, and it might be enough flame to even get our bigger logs caught without having to go through something like smaller twigs.